wondered what UFC villain Colby Covington gets up to in his day-to-day life? Well, stay tuned to find out, as in this video we'll be going through the lifestyle of one of the most controversial UFC fighters to ever exist. From his outlandish political statements to inappropriate comments about former training partners, we're going to try and understand what goes on behind the scenes and whether Colby's personal life is anything like the character he portrays. Make sure you stay until the end of the video to find out why Colby is the way he is and what caused him to change so drastically later on in his MMA career. Colby Covington is the current number 2 ranked welterweight in the UFC, and it's hard not to take notice of him and his antics outside the cage. Growing up in Oregon from the age of 8, he would take up wrestling due to his time at high school, later going on to attend Iowa Community College and after that the University of Iowa. Colby would eventually begin training mixed martial arts after his time as a wrestler, and after that, joining the UFC. Colby had come from an extremely active family, his father being a wrestler at the Oregon Institute of Technology and Southern Oregon University. His sister is also in the sports industry as a coach and a professional dancer, even cheerleading in the NBA for the Sacramento Kings. And despite Colby's hatred from the general MMA community, his family is never hesitant to show him the utmost support and be vocal in their support. His life outside the cage early on in the UFC career was nothing to write home about. He spent a lot of his time training and with his training partners at an American top team. During his time at one of the top gyms in the country, he would befriend many fighters who now hold deep grudges towards him. It would be around the time of 2017 where Colby's personality and character made a drastic change, leading to his infamous comments about Brazilians after his fight with Damian Maia. This comment would spark rage in the MMA community, as its heavy ties with Brazil caused many fans to hate Colby simply because of what he said. The speech went viral, however, and the name Colby Covington was now known to almost every MMA fan, albeit for the wrong reasons. His newfound fame and the skill set he used to back up the trash talk led to brand deals with companies such as Bang Energy, putting amounts of money Colby had never seen before in his life in his pockets. Colby's net worth is estimated to be around $4 million, with his biggest payday coming from his most recent fight, where he won an extra $500,000 on top of his base of $500,000 as a win bonus, taking him up to a total of $1 million for the fight. His Usman fight preceding his latest fight would earn him $600,000, with that being his base salary as he ended up losing. Colby's highest paying fights were always won with extreme trash talk between him and his opponent. The greater the hatred and out-of-pocket comments, the higher the pay. This financial incentive caused from being audacious led him to do it even more, unafraid to attack anyone and anything verbally no matter the consequences. However, what goes around comes around, and his newfound fame and money wouldn't shield him from getting a taste of his own medicine from the comments he made about others' personal life. As recently, Masvidal exposed the reason his girlfriend broke up with him, and it's as horrifying as you'd expect it to be. Recently, on the Joe Rogan podcast, Masvidal revealed the reason Colby had been broken up with by his girlfriend was because he gave her an STI. This indicated that Colby must have been cheating on her, and after she kicked him out, Colby was left homeless, having to sleep over at Masvidal's apartment until eventually getting back on his feet and getting his own place. So perhaps Colby really is the villain he was made out to be all along. Fans have been speculating that his girlfriend was in fact Polyana Viana, but still no one is yet to confirm whether it was her or another one of Colby's exes. Outside his personal relationships, Colby has a loud political voice, constantly voicing his support for former President Donald Trump and the first responders. Being Colby, however, he of course had some out-of-pocket things to say about other politicians and political movements. Colby faced a lot of criticism after he made comments about the Black Lives Matter movement, which ended up getting him disavowed by the then UFC sponsor Reebok because of his comments. Moving on to Colby's day-to-day life, much of it remains somewhat clouded, as Colby's extreme comments makes it difficult to tell the difference between what's genuine and not. But one thing we can be sure of is that Colby trains very hard every day and keeps a strict training schedule which keeps him in incredible shape. Colby is known for having some of the best cardio in the UFC and has stood at the top of the welterweight division because of it, frequently making lewd comments about sleeping with women being his main source of cardio makes us question his training method. However, not much has been that out of the ordinary for a fighter of his caliber. Outside of training, we suspect he lives a somewhat disciplined life, occasionally stepping out of his discipline to have fun, but for the most part remaining focused on pursuing what is best for his career. We certainly don't think the character he portrays on the screen is how he is if you were to meet him shopping at the grocery store. So now that we've decided that Colby isn't who he portrays, why would he force himself to act in such a way? But before we tell you that, we want you to know that we hold a monthly shout out on this channel, and all you have to do to enter is comment "I sub" down in the comments section below, and you could be in with a chance of winning. Colby Covington was initially a very quiet character in the UFC. He changed his approach to fighting after the lack of interest in him as a fighter meant the UFC was struggling to find him opponents. He knew he was on his way out of the UFC because of it. This fear led to Colby devising a plan to be entertaining outside of the cage in the only way he knew how, by offending people. It began in Brazil, then quickly spiraled into the main draw for attention, attacking fighters who he had no possibility of even facing simply for the shock factor. And as crazy as this tactic was, it ended up working, as it boosted his career by getting him fights he would never have gotten otherwise simply by annoying those in the division above him so much they wanted to fight him. Whereas before he was simply too big a risk to fight, and there wasn't enough reward for opponents above him in the ranking to take on the fight, leaving him without opponents and the UFC with no need for him. What do you think Colby gets up to in his spare time? Do you believe his comments? Or could it be simply all a character he portrays? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.